Okay, so, hello guys, it's me Gaming Star here, and today I am back with another episode of the Greatest Attorney Resolve 2. To resolve, last time we had basically done the trial. Done the first two parts of the trial. And this time we're going to go ahead and do the final part investigation of this case. Let's go. Oh, sister, it's been too long. Hasn't changed in the slightest though. And it's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you left it. But it has to be some 6 months, it's true. It has been 6 months. So your father alright, Susie? What happened? My father? Yes, Professor Mikotoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because a telegram you received saying you've fallen ill and very high fever for some unknown reason. That's right. So I was surprised to learn you're coming back so soon. Surprised but happy. I think I read about it in my letter to you. That was all a trick. My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that. Well, we're all delighted to have you back. It was quite an accident I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of the very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium. The International Forensic Symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned. Anyway, I've been arrived safe and sound. All that matters is I'm here now. After all, I haven't fulfilled my promise to you, ladies. Oh? You must tell us everything. What happened while you were back in Japan? Yes, of course. I shall. And there's one little thing. Something you wrote in your letter in particular grabbed my attention. About you-know-who. Kazuma. I know. I'll tell you about it I can. Back in Britain. We have a lot to talk about. When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely. The awful trial. Oh, yes. For the murder of Giselle Brett. Oh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing. I wish I'd seen it. Don't you, Reno? Yes, I suppose so. I wanted to play at being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe. I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just a 10 years old, Edis. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Mrs. Sato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikotoba summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter it was something to do with that convict salute we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings. That's right. The very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted of his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet. Why would that be then? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, I intend to find the answer for myself. And I've decided that I for one won't keep any more secrets. Oh, Susie. That's very meaningful looks as if the sign gave Edis there. Forensic Science Symposium. I don't know. Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium too. I think he said the investigative authorities are 40 different countries world intended. Yes, I'm from Japan. My father and Judge Goku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikotoba is an expert in forensics and medicine in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Yes, His Excellency, Judge Shishiro Jigoku. You've met him, Mr. Naruto. The last year in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten. Oh, yeah, him. Yeah, yes, you remember how I said his name? When we defended ourselves. The terrible trial of yours when you were accused of the murder. Ah, yes. I try to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days. He was the judge in that case. Well, it was Judge Jigoku who presided over the trial. Jigoku. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy to never see that man's face again in my life. Oh, well, anyway, as Father is invited to the system, he agreed to return to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and he agreed to me going on ahead. Yes, about the symposium. It seems that the Lord Strongheart has put an awful lot of work into making it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that achieving expectational results will get him the job of the attorney, the most senior position in the British justice system. Yeah, that's what he wants. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what his father said anyway. Apparently it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Mikotoba know Lord Strongheart personally then? I wonder. Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech about all this very subject only yesterday and I forgot all of it. But I sort of lost the will to live early on. I didn't really listen to much of it. How trying for you. I mean, yeah, it's too much. Giselle Brett, that woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me and being wrongly accused of the crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Giselle Brett. That's the name I won't forget as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government intelligence sources have been investigating Miss Brett. It turns out that the Englishwoman in the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. Didn't exist? But how can that be? That's not her real name. It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin, and she wasn't inviting student either. That was a front. A front? Who on earth was she then? Okay, so do you guys remember that, the Morse code? Do you guys remember how one of the names was A Shin? That's her. Miss Shin. Her name is literally all intelligence services have been able to discern about her. Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery. But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. Been up to? I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing I can be sure of is that she has some business in our country that we don't yet understand. And now she's been killed, while the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. I'm afraid so. Shit. Who on earth was she? And why do I feel as though I've heard that name somewhere before? Yeah, the Morse code. Shin. A Shin. Like, assassin? Okay. After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange. The reporter. I know the truth! I know you had a hand in what went on. That visiting student's fate! Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't even know the guy never made it to England, that he died on the steamship, and that he'll never... He'll never what? Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later, I visited the man in prison cell, asked him what was going on in, say, Kazuma-sama, and what did you learn? After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unlanded in the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consulate staff there. Should have been? Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It's just disappeared. What? Kazuma's body? Vanish? Our government tried to cover up the fact, it seems. They erected a grave in the cliffs of our hometown. Except Kazuma isn't there. Did Professor Mikotoba know about this? Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak. I just don't believe it. And what is this about? I keep feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden. The Kazuma mystery. Thinking back now, some of the things that happened to SS Buriya were definitely strange. Yeah, some of the things were, honestly. Like I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? No, we never did. It's really odd, isn't it? Could it be that he's actually still alive? Stop it, Mr. Naruhodo! It's too much to bear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he? And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly. You're right. So if Kazuma hadn't actually been dead at all, would it mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us? But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing. I suppose that's true, yes. The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it, because if it turned out not to be true, then I'd be back at the bottom of the awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what it might do to me. Oh, Miss Susato. I know she's given the idea of how it deserves. This is the son we're talking about after all, so I probably shouldn't push it now. Alright, so we can examine the shovel. Making back the spade's been interesting moved in, hasn't it? I'm sure I've told you before, so it's not a spade, it's a shovel. No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping loose materials. A spade. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose materials. It's a shovel. Great spade shovel war rages on. It's the ladder. It's the ladder. So come and talk to Edie and see what she has to say. It must be a year ago. I've read a really long story based on some of my father's own notes. It's about one of Hurley's great exploits. I call it the Hound of the Baskervilles. But then Mr. Sholmes forbade her from publishing it and put it in a manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it. The pawnbrokery. Nobody knows anything about it, apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Hand of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. And you wouldn't tell me. How come you didn't know it? Yes, but I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time. Oh? I'm only sorry I've had to keep it from so long, Edith. Hand of the Baskervilles. It was completely by accident when it came to know the title of your manuscript, Edith. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study and I saw something in the writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label fixated with the box that was written in English. It read, The Hound of the Baskervilles. What? My Baskervilles story? Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time, but Father came in and... Susato, what are you doing? Oh, Father. Did you look at those papers? No, I simply read the label, that's all. Well, put it out your mind. Sorry? Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand? But what was Edie's manuscript doing in Japan? I have no idea. But when I heard Edie's mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was the unpublished account of one of Mr. Schoenfleck's plates. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions, and there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I know that the Father was actually a very good reason for being so secret about it, but still. I made up my mind I'll explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail of the case to memory. And Edith has told me about the disturbing happenings at Waxwork Museum as well, so you're fully abreast of the situation already, Mrs. Sato. I've expected nothing less, to be honest. I would think at first port call investigate Straber, the engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that used to effect this extraordinary trick. Yes, a conjurer of sorts, by the sound of it, well known in the fields of science and magic. Then we need to go and arrest him. Well, yes, but what's the true fact is that we really need to find the man. To tracking someone down. It's a job for the police and a great detective, or supposed to be what I'm thinking of. We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think. Good idea. Well, best of luck then. Oh, you're not coming today? I'm going to Brixton Road shortly to her market. But I'll let you know if you're later gone, won't you? That was a little abrupt. The pull to her market must be strong. Alright, let's get a move on. The location has been added. We have the experiment test stage, Madame Tuss spells. So let's see where we can go now. So let's see, we're gonna go to prison. We're gonna go talk to Herobrine. Oh my god! Holy! What's he doing? He's... Oh my! The whole wall self-covered in mathematical equations! He's still writing more now. Professor? Sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. And who is this young lady? My name is Susato Mikatova. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only I met a refined young woman like you sooner! None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear, I'm sorry if our presence here upsets you. I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you, and I would have, of course. Oh no, the whole thing, the whole miserable affair, it all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot. Professor Herobrine. Is that the back, if you don't mind? Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, I simply had to write it down. You've been working in your cell. Write down while head to hand. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, actually, it's my autobiography. What? Your autobiography? How was I diddled and fiddled by Albert Herobrine? I found I can represent odd forces of an odd number of ambitious set of simultaneous equations. Really? I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took to Kinesis Machine, you see. And I'm going to be a serial publication next month. Part 1, An Odd Birth, An Odd Upbringing. It's a little book! Can't beat him with the man's optimism, that's for sure. I love the little tiny book, that's so adorable. I see, well for now, would you mind if I talk a little more about this case? Oh yes, of course! I've been working through the numbers. I was fiddled by the pair of them! By Assman and by the fluff engineer Drebber. We're not gonna sit through the equations, are we? Alright, let's talk. The morning trial. Everything I believed has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Assman, the Kinesis Machine, my hypothesis even. Assman, sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to pull a trick in public. No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning I realized something. Oh? You've done something wrong without knowing it. You've still done something wrong! Logically, it makes no difference if you're aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies within me. Oh, Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know? Barack did. He believed my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing his case. No, Barack wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution and the trial, I mean. Why do you think so? Vantig's motivation. What do you think? After that terrible accident happened, nobody would believe my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. I feel like I've dealt some kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, it was only one other than Barack. I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis complete utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Barack insisted that that was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... Because he's his friend. I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul. But the extremely kind-hearted soul spent all the morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Yeah, that's fair. Well, admittedly, that part of analysis appears to have some flaws in it. And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit with the kind-hearted soul idea? I guess that was just part of the court system thing. Mr. Assman. Do you think he said that to trick me from the very start? I'm sorry to say, but that does seem very likely, yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so apathetic. But in reality, there was a mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it, it wasn't some kind of small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope and they're burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want the research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on the barely legal part-time work to try to earn a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that and be taken for a complete fool. It's too wrong to believe. It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Assman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Drebber the engineer. Is he an engineer, or a magician, or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Assman first brought Drebber to meet me in my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about Kinesis Machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's genuine scientist is nearly apparent conversation. I see. So he was one. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to bring him to justice. There's no more clues to give us his whereabouts. I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the Kinesis Machine, nothing else. Although, just once. I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Oh, fuck, wrong bud. Drebber's enormous fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine. Didn't you mention this before? I got Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find him the man there. Drebber's workshop. You've been at Drebber's place of work then? Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place, plenty of room to construct the Kinesis Machine, you see. Where can we find it? We have to go there once? There's a good chance we'll find Drebber there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure, as in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry! I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. What?! He blindfolded you?! He wasn't taking any chances then. That's crazy. The place was incredible, a pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was very the best. A special French machine oil is impossible to obtain in Britain. Ah, the indestructible scent of imported oil. Perfumes across the world should forget their scent formulae, use that instead. What do you think, Mrs. Sato? Oh, the machine for your next birthday? I never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Nada, hold on. And I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor? You don't have any business card for Mr. Drebber, for example? I was clearly very cautious, Mrs. Sato. I'm sure he would. Aha! Yes, I do! He gave me a business card once. It's right here. Look. What? Let me see that! Throw etiquette out the wind, didn't you? Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address. No, oh well. Again, I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Drebber's cards. We're gonna keep that in mind. So, alright. So now that we found the card, which is what we definitely needed. So now, let's get a move on over to Lord Chief Justice's office. So we can talk to Lord Strongheart. Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart? Okay, she's gonna be important, by the way. She's gonna be really important, so keep this in mind. That's Courtney Scythe. I wonder. I've never seen her before. Keep her in mind. Ah, the young champion of the court. We had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result. Sorry! Oh, again, I'm sorry. Oh, you mean because of Professor Herobrine's experiment? Sham science being demonstrated at London's great exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish, and now the politicians are scrambling to respond. Politicians don't see shit. Lord Van Dixon said Whitehall as you speak, giving an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. The specialist position that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that later happens, my forensic investigation team will move and deal with the scrap metal in no time. Scrap metal now, is it? That was quick. Until later then, Lord Strongheart. Yes, thank you. Keep her in mind, she's important. Who was that? That was Dr. Courtney Scythe, Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. Told ya, she's in the forensic investigation team's handling of this case. She was just delivering a report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. About Mr. Assman. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to evaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you which is concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensic laboratory. Alright. Right. Now, what were you about to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. So he's not running quite so spectacularly anymore. Alright, let's talk, bro. Let's go ahead and check. Okay, so let's talk. How about we go ahead and check out the card? So it doesn't say. Oh, wait. There's something back here. This dark smudge here. I think perhaps the machine oil. Oh, yes, possibly. For this by instead of solution imported by high quality oil from France. Yeah, more importantly, that's more fragrant to find its perfume, so excuse me for a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. Don't worry. I expect it because there's such a smell in there. So, do that. You're gonna need it. Do that real quick. In reverse. Enoch Drebber, engineer. And that's it. So I just wanted to do that real quick with the evidence. So do that because you're gonna need to. Let's talk. The forensic investigation team. What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before? The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace the forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago now, unofficially of course, to pave the way. Goodness, a year ago? And next month's Symphysime, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly. What do you mean? For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. The London scum's about to be rounded up and burnt into fires of hell. Okay, geez. I intend to see that personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known to protect our honor and our future. Look at those eyes. He means every word. Dr. Scythe is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish a forensic division at Scotland Yard, Mario! She will run as a right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of this symphosy, I can't symposium? I don't know. Symphosy? I don't know. Miss Pikatova? Oh, yes, my lord. Your father should be in high seas as you speak, making his way to represent the Empire of Japan. Yes, that's right. I understand he'll arrive at the beginning of next month. Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? Professor Mikatoba, I mean. It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikatoba very well. Dr. Mikatoba. If my memory serves, it's been 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student. It was the year I was born, so yes, 16 years ago in fact. Mikatoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jigoku accompanied him as a young, promising judge. The punctuality and politeness of Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way. I didn't think that you were. Dr. Mikatoba studied forensics at one of London's large hospitals. St. Sinners, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Scythe was also there then, as it happens. Then Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she? She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I have no doubt that they met each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikatoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total. 6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it? I lived with my grandmother in those years, so he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas 6 whole years? It was a rather turbulent time at home. Oh. Perhaps father wanted a reason to get away. What do you mean? Why? Well, clearly something was going on at the time. Lord Van Zieks. I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zieks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mass murderer known as the Professor? Ooh, targeting nobles and royalty, is that right? You Japanese are for a lot. You've done your research well. Yes. And you could say that it was the very incident that gave rise to the Reaper. What? Why? When his brother, Clint Van Zieks, was murdered. It was just after young Barak had graduated from the University of London and became a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in the court started disappearing, rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that when Barak Van Zieks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind. Oh my word. So Lord Van Zieks is the Reaper? Is the ghost of his brother? Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles. Oh yes, Lord Strongheart. Go ahead. It's about Professor Herobrine's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine his remains if it's possible. Are you well versed in science, then? No! No, not in the slightest. In fact, I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently. Specialist position legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Sykes and forensic experts will begin to run the investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the record as long as you touch nothing. Thank you! Being able to look is better than nothing. I'll be able to see it too. Your time is up. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls. We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you are busy, my lord. I have important matters to attend in preparation of symposium, you understand. Bye. Well. Alright, let's get a move on. We have a new location. Forensics Laboratory. Oh, there's some blood. I believe this is it. Dr. Scythe's laboratory. That chemical smell really assaults the nose, and there's plenty of that assault the eyes in here too. It looks as though the doctor isn't here, but we're here now, so as well do some sightseeing, don't you think? What a seasoned tourist you become, Mrs. Sato. We could just look around, be careful not to upset any restless souls. So, examine. Examine the book right here. You're gonna need to do this. Look at this big thick book here. Ah, it appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Oh? What is it? It's clear that the team purchased various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but, well, one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scalpels every month. Holy shit, that's a lot of scalpels. 500 scalpels? They must be working really hard to dissect corpses. I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out under certain special circumstances, and scalpel blades can be sharpened too. Yeah, it's weird. It does seem a bit strange. You're right. 500 scalpels a month? What could possibly be using all of them for? Yeah, that's odd. It's an odd amount to be using, isn't it? Normally, you can sharpen those, so it's really weird. What are you doing? Hi! Sorry, we had to ask you, but we were here, so you thought you'd snip around. That's acceptable to you people from the East, is it? Well, what do you want? Lord Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body, or Mr. Assman's body, I mean? So we came to ask you about your findings. Oh, Lord Strongheart's advice. Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when you're done, you must leave immediately. Alright, let's talk. Your findings. So, what do you want to know by forensic investigation team determines examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Odie Assman, who disappeared from the experimentation stage amid an explosion, and then Mr. Assman, who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower, were without question one and the same person. But that can't be right! It is an elaborate trick. We can only speculate about how it was carried out. Let's see. If two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear a single person and switched places, couldn't they? Very true. But sadly, in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who supposedly appeared was the same person. The fingerprint at the scene make that quite evident. Ah, fingerprints. They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system, but one day they may be used in investigative aid as a matter of course. Well, I already talked about it. I already did talk about it before with you guys in a previous video about that, but yeah, fingerprints are kind of dubious nowadays, considering there can be a lot and they're very similar to each other. I mean, there are fingerprints that do look pretty similar. Like, for example, my fingerprint could be similar to someone else's. It could be mistaken easily. It happens. I mean, it could easily used to frame someone that didn't actually do that. It'd be pretty easy if a database status. So today's case actually took place. So where does that leave us? I don't think it did. That there has to be a trick. My team was tasked with investigating. No drawing conclusions. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to another. There's a clear anything up at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery. This is really odd. Mama. Hold on, let me see. Mama, what is this? Where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? This is a lawyer, dear. Oh! Oh? Hello? To meet you? Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. Do you know skin that out? Mama? Yes? Can I cut this one up? What? What? Oh, shit. I've never seen this on an Easter person before. I want to know what it looks like. Of course you can't. It's a live specimen. You can very well see. What the hell? Boring. Mario, shut the fuck up! Mario! I think I just had a near-death experience. Oh dear, Mr. Tadahodo, you're pale as a corpse. Then listen before I'm mistaken for one. Alright, so let's get out of here. Experimentation stage. Bitch. Mario! Oh, it's a little doggo! Oh my god! I had no idea there were many people in the world. I know what you mean. It's really packed here today. Feels as though it's taken 2 stretches to make our way through the crowds to this point. It has? Has it? I shut my brain down to really notice, to be honest. Gosh, I do wish I'd have sense of mind sometimes. There you are. I had a feeling you lot would show up in mugs before long. Oh, Inspector Gregson! I see you're hard at work as usual. Warm greetings to you. I do hope you've been keeping well since we last met. What's the call of ceremony? We just saw each other in the court this morning. Not you, Sunshine. The gentlewoman so loyally at your side. Oh! Why, thank you, Inspector. How did you notice? He might be a bit rough around the edges, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. As you probably guess, we're hoping to investigate the scene some more. Right, well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi! Get over here, Gina! Playing with the dog. Oh, so cute. She seems to be busy playing with the puppy. Probably giving a traditional East End training. Gina? She's a police officer now? Amazing, isn't it? She's a good kid, actually. Heart's in the right place, anyway. She's got the detection bug, if you ask me. Yep. I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely. What do you mean? I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say toodaloo to London. Oh, no, really? That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted, then? We'll come to see how you're getting along. Not likely, but you're welcome to try on my trip to France. To France? I'll be working in the Paris police prefecture. Should be right up my alley. But France is a entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there? That's the way the adult world works, Sunshine. Now don't go poking your nose in where it's not wanted. I'm intending to take the kid with me when I go. What? You're taking Gina to Paris? Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what'll become of her? I suppose he's worried about she's back to slipping her hands into people's pockets and purses. I don't think he's worried about her pickpocket, Mr. Ledhood. I think he's worried about the vehicle. Oh, of course. So that's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, is it? Anyway, I haven't mentioned it all to Gina, so don't go babbling, you hear me? No, of course not. I've got to keep the Diving Diva safe and sound, until it's all over at least. They're very vague. Oi! Did you just call me Bloomin' Diving Diva again? So you heard that, did you? Right, well, any questions at the scene you can put up in the capable detective Diva here. Bye, Gregson. Alright, you added the boss? Inspector Lestre's in charge now. I suppose I gotta learn a bunch of anything about Paris. So, Gina, you got a new dog, have you? Oh, isn't he great? Toby's name. Toby! Cutie! Oh, up to life, boy, he's absolutely adorable! Oh my god, I love you. Yes, the dog does seem lovely. But it's not so lovely Inspector Gregson is playing in my mind, to be honest. Alright, let's talk. Investigating the scene. Gina? We were actually hoping we could investigate the scene again. Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like. Oh, that's alright, isn't it? I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here. Ah, yes, Toby. Toby, so adorable. Boop. Aw, baby. The machine that exploded must be on the top of the stairs, I presume. I haven't actually seen it, so if you don't... Sorry, can't go up there, Sus. Mario! Oh? Mario, shut the fuck up, not you. It's like I told Lodo yesterday, even I didn't near the wreck. What's it called again? The reason why you're supposed to touch it? The Special Dispositionary for Science Equipment Act. Disposition Equipment Act. That's what you were thinking of? That's the one. That's why we gotta let the lad investigate it. What are they called again? The forensic something? The forensic investigation team is what you're thinking of. That's the one, yeah. But isn't it the case that the special disposition has been lifted? I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with you. Yes, there's supposed to be permission from the bigwig of the law that I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something? Lord Strongheart. I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Strongheart, perhaps? That's the one, yeah. Apparently he's always watching the time or something. Actually, we've just recently been to Lord Strongheart. Eh? You what? You met him? Last time the boss was called to get and see him, he waited for 3 hours at the Gove's office and came back sniveling. Tragic. Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene as long as we touch nothing. Oh yeah? Honestly. Alright then, go ahead. But if it turns out you're lying, I'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying that's all above board, are ya? I'm sure everything will be fine. That really would be tragic. Alright then, through the stairs. Off you go. Oh, thank you, Gina. Today's trial. It was great, wasn't it? I laughed. It was a new one on me, that. You know, being in court and not spending the whole time worrying about it and found out. You did keep an awful lot of secrets in all your previous court appearances, didn't you? Yeah, and all those made some things out for me every single time and all. Just doing my job, Gina. But watching someone else get to the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It was amazing when you showed that dodgy professor's dodgy experiment was a total fix. The dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Nuttall's client. Yes, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though. It's the boss I feel sorry for. Sent off to do the impossible. What do you mean? He's supposed to arrest another cove, ain't he? No time till tomorrow and all. You know, the dodgy engineer. What's his name again? Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber. That's the one, yeah. So the police were looking for the mysterious man with the black monocle. I guess they would be. He's putting too much in the boss, if you ask me. He says it's giving him the gut ache. Or maybe it's all the fish and chips. Oh dear. But I wonder if it's all actually from all the fried food. The engineer's whereabouts. So Scotland Yard are trying to track down Mr. Enoch Drebber. I wonder if there's any luck. He's really fine looking. Got 2 eyes and one, match. Stole a glimpse of the picture in there later. I mean, I didn't actually pinch in or nothing. The old devil's got it. Sorry, who? You know, that scowling reaper what's always goggling down glasses, that blood-red plonk. Ah, Lord Van Zeeks. He's always at it for me, that Gov. Don't know what he's always scowling about, mind. Probably would have been a pretty good boss if it goes. She'd rather be the Reaper's apprentice in detective's training. The way I see it, if the choice is between chip-guzzling detective and a chest-goggling demigod, you're equally badly with both. I suppose you're right. And I thought of it like that. Glad we put that one to bed. Anyway, the point is, everyone at the yard is dead set on finding that fishy engineer. But they don't seem to be the clues to go on, so they're stuck. Sniffing. Mr. Drebber at all? Toby the dog. Where'd you get Toby the dog? Where did you find that little mutt then, Gina? Little baby boy. Oi! Don't be so flaming rude, Odo. Slight overreaction, don't you think? He ain't no mud, alright? Toby's, how did they put it? A cute little boy. Oh, look at the booby. Oh yeah, a bona fide detective. Bonafide! Oh my god, look at that adorable little bitch. He's so adorable. Oh, sorry? I've given him a proper title and everything. It's a Chief Inspector Toby to you. More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he? Oh, so adorable little child. Oh, he's so police dog, is he? The police recruit dogs now? Yes. I've heard that they're already being used sufficient in Germany as part of their city policing. They're used for chasing criminals and such like, and they have a wonderful sense of smell after them. I have a really good sense of smell myself, as it happens. I can tell undergarments have been freshly laundered and undergarments still haven't. Ah, that's nothing compared to the little fella, Odo. Oh, really? According to what the boss said, once Toby's had got the good weapon in your drawers. Here you go, Jason, sent to the other side of the world. What? To the other side of the world? You mean he can swim? Mr. Nada, hold up. I think you may have missed the point by rather a wide margin. I just can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill. Look at that PB boy! I'm telling you though, that there's gonna be more and more dogs doing a bit of the police in future. You're not wrong. I've seen a few of them. They're adorable. Yes, I agree. Right? One of these days they'll be barking orders a lot of us, not the other way around. Oh dear. Sorry, Gina. I don't think I agree with your vision that much. Well, anyway. Whatever you got from Toby, yeah, the British police dog. I found him down in the East End the other day. Someone had to chunk them out to the street. Oh, there you go. I knew she left it in from somewhere. What a baby! Oh, Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? To children and to animals. Oh, what a baby boy! Oh my god! Oh my god. Okay, so give the card to Gina, and you'll see why this is gonna be important. Because remember, there's a smear machine oil. About this, Gina. Yeah, I'm still learning me letters at the moment. I'm only know A to E, so I ain't much of bleeding trouble. Actually, Gina, it's the back of the card that's important. Eh? How come? It's just a dirty old smudge in the back, that's all. It turns out that this is a very high quality French machine oil. It has a very particular scent apparently. Oh, you don't say. Let's have a whiff then. You're sure I don't smell nothing? No, we didn't mean you should smell it. Alright. You mean Toby. Toby! Oh, baby. His sense of smell is good, so he can track people over the oceans, can he? Professor Harebrand informs his oils unique to the River's workshop. I think he's picked up the scent. So if you mean it follows the scent to the oil, Toby can lead us to the Dodgy Cove's workshop? That's right. That's exactly what we're hoping. Alright then, we give it a go. Just borrow that. What? Wait, when did you... What's a pickpocket? We can lead everyone to Dreb's workshop. He'll be the boss before the next week. Oh, yes, Gina. I'm sure I'd be promoted. Poor Gregson. Gregson. Alright, let's go up to the platform. So now we know... Right then, no, leave it to me. Sorry? We're going after the Dodgy Engineer Cove right this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be guarded to the early fine. I'm afraid we can't help. But we need to get our investigations hold, Gina. Oh, right. Oh, wait, never mind. Ain't gonna be me what to get the naked. I'll be the boss. Poor Gregson. Again. Ready, Toby? Got to do us and have ya. Come on then, boy. See ya later. Oh, the baby boy. I love. I hope I've sent some of these to his workshop. Yes, I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. Alright, let's go up to the platform. So back. Yeah, let's go. Oh my, so this is the machine. Oh, there's the birdcage. What is it used to deceive people and thinking incidents can easily have taken place? Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. A little worse for wear at the moment. What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrand went over to obtain the research grant. No, the professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it. Yes, of course. That's amazing though, isn't it? You're right about that. University's grand deception in Japan, that's for sure. Oh, look, is that? Oh, look who it is. Lord Van Zieks? So, I think we're almost done here, aren't we? Should we go, Mrs. Otto? Already? He is the Reaper, remember? Keep our distance, I think. I have a permission to be here. From the top. We're perfectly allowed to investigate so she as long as we don't touch anything. From the top? Do you mean Lord Strongheart? Exactly. So we can use like wreckage as long as you like. You're gonna have a center of explosion, whatever Steel will. Alright. So, Van Zieks is gonna check out the birdcage. Check this out. Remember we saw this before, the birdcage? This wasn't here yesterday. Really? If I'm not mistaken. It wasn't! That's new. It's a cage of the victim standing before it apparently beamed through the air. That's right. The bird cage, according to what Professor Harebrand said in court, is made of wood. Some are precisely Japanese cypress, I think. Despite having been an explosion inflaming the Great High, it's relatively unharmed. What a wonderful, durable construction. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Otto? I understood the forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine. I suppose they must have brought it back here and finished their work. But sadly, not to his body inside. No, that's right. I know we were given strict to search, don't touch anything, but still, this is an important piece of evidence to not overlook. Let's keep that in mind. And then, check out the machine itself. What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even though steel grinders have busted and twisted in the blast. And I've said birdcage was right in the middle of it all, just here. Okay, so here's something interesting. Notice the hinges on the bottom. It looks like it could be opened and like dropped. Looks like it could be opened up and then like you could like drop beneath. That's what it looks like to me. But the metal ground, the floor, looks as though it's designed to open. Yeah, that's what I said. It does, doesn't it? If the floor is the corner from the explosion occurred, the birdcage have dropped through to disappear from sight. I don't think there's any doubt. Those very elaborate hooks. So it makes sense why it'd be like that. Look at that horn-shaped transmitting device. Isn't it amazing? That's exactly what I thought when I first saw it. Makes me think, doesn't it? If only even normal horn, then it wouldn't have happened. That's exactly what I thought as well. I bet I can predict anything as next time legs. You're about to say nothing goes plan, aren't you? Oh no, I wouldn't say something like that. So let's go talk to Lord Van Zieks, shall we? Least approachable man in the world, win her 10 years in a row. Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistant stand firmly. Lord Van Zieks? Hi. What? Well, beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently you Nipponese aren't equipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them all right. I just want to talk. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Ah, well, the thing is... Lord Chief Justice Stronghart grants us permission to investigate on the condition we don't disturb anything. And yet you've managed to disturb me. Ah! Never mind. State your business then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd ask Lord Van Zieks about. Not least of which the awful case even knows something to do with this. Ask away, Mr. Naruto. You won't give this a try. Your brother Clint. So, Clint. Was the name of your older brother, I understand, Lord Van Zieks? You Nipponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no, it's not like that. We alright, it's a little bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was a pride of the Van Zieks family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean. Is something funny? That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? There's more to that? Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? Ugh, you're too kind. Are you going to tar all Nipponese with the same brush next? So tell me, what's your interest in the historic incident? As it happens, Lord Van Zieks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Tussauds Museum of Waxwork by any chance? I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I featured in one of the displays for public scorn. Of course, the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have been exhibited, wouldn't he? Bro. Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place, and held for ransom. A particular waxwork, which... Wait! You mean... Yes, it's the professor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak. I was unaware of that. He's turned as white as a sheet, even whiter than usual. Listen, I'm white as hell, but even whiter than me. Holy shit. I'm white, but even whiter than me. Are the police trying to look at the engineer, Mr. Driver, already? Surely that goes without saying. We're very keen to see you found as well. The trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we've heard earlier. Which, according to the Professor Harebrine, was a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle. So, I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but, we very much appreciate more clues you can give us. Wow, Susato-san really knows how to take the bull to the horns. Fine, why not? Have a photograph of the man here from the investigation 10 years ago. It's the exact description. It appears he already had the black monocle at the time. What? Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you had to share that with us. We all need that man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short end time available. So I want to show you the photograph. Oh, what is this about? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all. The photograph of Drebber has been added. Alright, so now we know exactly what it looks like. From 10 years ago, but still. Oh, hi! Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you. Are you alright? Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Van Zieks' apprentice, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Susato-san can't see it too? Lord Van Zieks, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment? With him? Why? What? He's gonna allow it? He's going. Kazuma-sama! Oh, he responded to that name. It is him. There we go. Kazuma? I don't believe it! Your posture, your presence. It can only be. It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama? I felt something strange the very first time I encountered that cloaked figure, as if I knew him somehow. I had that feeling too, obviously. Can it really be you, Kazuma? And he's going. Wait! Too late. What's going on here? Oh, well, I think we know who he is. What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something. Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Bryn 6 months ago. Lord Strongheart introduced me to him about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you. Why did he? The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself. He has amnesia? Of course he does. Of course. Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side. What? He's to serve as my digital assistant. On Lord Strongheart's orders. He'll be in court with us? Oh god, it's gonna be awkward. Not unless I'm much mistaken. I believe this conversation has been run its course. Oh, yes, thank you. I definitely saw the reaction there. When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma-sama. He stopped for a moment. He stopped. Like, he just stopped. So obviously he knows that name. A part of him knows. Even if amnesia. You already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Nadahodo? We saw him before, yes. Yesterday, in fact, at the Lord Van Ziek's office. I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us. I know. We're gonna need to speak with him about that. You're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems. What sort of problems? Foreign affairs problems. Well, we can only... Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mrs. Seto. Of course. Well, I think with investigating, we could just learn whereabouts Mr. Drebber. Sheriff Gina, little Tubby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point? Yeah, things discussed with dying to me after all these months. Yes, quite possible, most of you, so you're right. We ought to find him Madame Tuspels. He's supposed to be working temporary wax for exhibit. Yes! Edie told me about the last East adventure. Oh my, no wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I like to turn my heels and go straight home. By comparison, being scared makes you crave sweets. I can understand that. But you know, there's something about the waxwork over there. It looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes down to the very last detail. Aha! What is it? Oh, sorry. I think you'll find out. Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee. Oh yes, hello again. It's Ryunosuke Narahodo. I must say, I am quite spellbound about a good detective. He is marveling. My precious waxwork is already back and it belongs. You don't mean... But yes, the mystery is solved already. Wow, Mr. Jones can already engage the brain when he's hungry enough. So you can see, he's returned to his habitual duties. Yes. His habitual duties? Alores, do not disturb. Poor Susato, she looks very perplexed. Go to the ladder. Ah, step ladder there, look. Oh yes, a step ladder. I think perhaps the sheriff person knows something left it out. Step ladder, I mean. Is something wrong? Why do I feel as though I managed to sidestep in an argument? Oh boy. So we have the stepladder debate, which we already did, and then We really need to speak with Mr. Sholmes. I'm going to say hello again. But where is he? He's right there. I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually. Oh, what are you? Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I, the world-famous great detective in waxwork, Herlock Sholmes. Susato-san! Susato-san! Oh God. My most humble apologies. I thought I died gone to Eternal Paradise, a woman via London. My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a taste-free deduction, simply, as long as there's no question of truth or quality. I don't understand. Why are you working as waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes? Merely a secret identity, you understand? Though the case is largely solved now. Largely solved? We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume. Indeed, very good fellow. As I predicted, it was easy to prove a pie. Though I confess, I yet to partake of part pie, provided otherwise any food so far to make the matter. The stomach rumble echoed to the whole museum. How did you manage to solve it so quickly? Ah, well, I do remember it said largely solved. Anyway, simply negotiate with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone? Oh yes, it's the most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only an imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected to it as of yet. This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing! Just between you and I, it would appear the culprit's intent is return the stolen waxwork at the event. Oh, but is anyone responsible? Ransom? Yes, I think perhaps. The ransom demand necessary wouldn't want to suspicion regarding the true motive. But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely necessary? In fact, it was taking him Madame Tespels at all costs. A hungry young Edis waits to return Baker Street, poor Edis. Now then, what if since this is a great waxwork? Enoch Drebber. We're in the process of trying to track someone down. Oh. Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Herobrine, an engineer who built the kinesis machine. A swindler and an engineer. Quite the modern man. He seems to be a conjurer of sorts with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to look at him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have a few clues to go on, so that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It's a capital mistake to make good ideas from this data. If I knew something of the man's appearance, at least, I'm better position to help. Yes, Trevor's appearance. Fortunately for you, however, I present to have a little occupied his stomach. So as soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, we'll take your thoughts. We'll show this picture later. Let's talk about Kazuma. Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? My dear Mr. Naruhodo stayed a piercing stare what this is about. Last winter, when we were the first away to Brand aboard the steamship. Your words are very clear. So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what the events led to this curious murder. You told us that it was a murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body. Indeed. And wherever lies the problem. We met him earlier today. The victim, Kazuma Asogi. And you're quite sure? He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure it was Kazuma-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead. Well, I came only to assume I swept up the murderous atmosphere at the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all. Priceless! I suppose his performance would pass muster. What did Mr. Naruhodo? I could believe that the crewman presented at the time made a mistake. But not you, Mr. Sholmes. I will now tell you something of the very first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Sholmes. Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself in threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. Mr. Sholmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print? As Mr. Enoch Drebber. The face of the engineer you seek. Well, the Englishman looked broadly asleep, of course. So looking at the photograph won't be particular intrusive. Are you alright, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, forgive me. Very interesting. Yes, very interesting indeed. You know the guy? What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You turned quite pale all of a sudden. Huh. I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruto. Will you indulge me? Oh, well, what is it? As you explained when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned, and I personally reinstalled the exhibit from which is taken behind those thick curtains. Oh yes, the professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it? For a mere 5 shillings, a special one-at-a-time only prize, you understand? What? The opportunity won't come again. I might add one like to speak to my labor. Oh, well, we've had a pressing investigation here. Perhaps we could postpone. The price is very reasonable, 5 shillings. I think that is worthwhile. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Schultz? Surely you need not look at my expression. And so serious is your silliness. I can never tell with you. That's the point. Very well. Couldn't hurt. Here's 5 shillings. Gratefully received. So the special exhibit awaits you behind the curtain and invites you to pursue delusion. Farewell. Well, money's been spent, so let's go and see a special exhibit. Feels heavy curtains at last. Let's go. 5 shillings you had to pay. It doesn't seem right, so I was just the money in his own pocket. No. Ah, we can ask G enter to your friends to use special skills. Pickpocket, police officer, and diddling detectives. This is what makes British great. Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands and chip-loving inspectors. Inspector Gregson comes off rather well on that list, I think. The demigod. Alright. Here we go. The special exhibit. Oh! There's no head. Just a body. Oh. Oh dear. I feel ashamed of my fantasies. Mrs. Sato! I say we turn our heels to go straight home. She'll become confused. We certainly can't do that. I think 5 shillings for it. True. Actually, now I'm looking a little more closely. If I had more money, exhibit that's clearly incomplete. Never did diddling detectives find more than anything else, as Mr. Sholmes is largely solved. The head is missing. It's the head. Be that may be. Mr. Sholmes heavily implied as a clue engineer, didn't he? But where? 5 shillings, shall we? Yes, we should get paid for. That's the frustration makes his little voice tremble. So, let's examine this baby. Over here. Go here. This part of the exhibit is just staring at this looks so real. Seems to be a young man in a white overcoat. And he has a large shovel in his hand too, look. Perhaps investigate a little more detail. This camera. What is this here? Well, it appears to be in the middle of this camera. Strange technology, isn't it? So let's take this camera. We're gonna get the camera. Shovel. Mrs. Sato, yes. That's a spade, isn't it? Here's the argument. No, it's a shovel. No, shovels are for digging and scooping up the stairs. It's a spade. Even do this, it's a shovel. All those you consider trowels. We've allowed ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Press your consider demand, so we're gonna bury the hatchet. You're right, though. What was I man doing in the first place? Ah, there it is. Finally got the reward. I feel happy. Alright, so finally got the reward. And we got all the achievements. I got all of them. Huh, cool. Nice. So let's go. I got all the achievements. So, open this up. Wonderful machine. It really is. Oh, yes. Anything mechanical is resistible, surely. There's blood on the side. Self-screen for. What is it? And the bellows just here. It's a very dark red stain. Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, actually. Oh, my. I'm sure he's thinking. So, keep that in mind. That's going to be important. Keep that in mind. Anything here of interest? Oh, look! Clever game open. Yes, now is a glad playing the photograph of taken C. Something wrong? There's no plate. It's very moved. Oh, what a pity. If you think about it, the actual camera uses waxwork. Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course. Please let this one stay. So, yeah, do that. You're going to need to do that for later. Also, let's go ahead and check out the birdcage. Look at this. The birdcage broke here. Ah, look, Mr. Sato. Oh yes, it's cracked a little. From height, it was lying in the crystal tower for about 33 or 9 meters, leaving the man tragically aside. Though there's caused the base damage, and then right here, there's also damage at the base here too as well. It's damage at the base. That's pretty much it. So let's examine this here. Must be the killer. Defends the professor. Yes, I think so. Man, I'm supposed to kill 5 victims, noble or royalty. Much so lifelike, isn't it? Is that for this place? I know, look, I start moving the middle where the head is. Probably because I'm in a little more detail. And the head. So this is the condemned man. Yes, the so-called professor. Then perhaps his head is chopped off by a guillotine? But unable to find peace, he had a grave ghost? Do we really have to terrifying ideas? This is it though. Anyway, after the model is one that's fitting, you see. Then Mr. Jones hasn't attached it. So the head's gone. Maybe the head is still there. Maybe the head, the person still has the head. There's something caught in the convict's jacket. Oh, it's a piece of glass. But why is that there? That's odd. It's the crystal tower piece. Holy shit, what's that doing here at all places? So it looks like there was a body double! That did exist. So now we have now we discovered that there's the glass of the crystal tower here. Yep, we have a body double. This was the body double. So now that we discovered pretty much everything here that we needed. Graveyard is scary in any place. Being buried alive is one of the worst things you can ever experience. If you actually look at him, notice how... Notice... Who is this? Oh! Ah! What on earth? How can... I don't believe it. A black monocle! Mr. Naruhodo, it's possible that man is... Yes, Enoch Drebber. It's Enoch Drebber. The color of his hair is different, but it's mistakenly him. Looks like his hair turned white at some point. Indeed it is. Mr. Sholmes! This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just, who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibition? At least his wax statue. And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned to the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say to myself? Largely solved are my words, I believe. I must look at the missing head and to decide, sweet as Madame would say. Or I'll be in grave trouble. Come here, Mario. I'm very hungry, so he has returned pick or shoes for filled with rations. Ugh. Come here, Mario. You know, though, something about this room is strange. Strange? What do you mean? Well, the displays in the house horses are supposed to be to pick real events, are they not? Indeed, they are, Mrs. Sato. Do go on. And as terrifying as they are, the scenes the other exhibits are believable, but this one is... This just surely couldn't have happened. Could it? Mario. It did happen, though. I think it's time to educate you a little. About the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago. Oh. Gonna get to it. Alright, Mario, I just need to, just talk. The resurrecting convict. I believe I told you a little about Professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims. No one beginning to remember I can't read! Or royalty. They were attacked with an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped out of their bodies. Ooh, that is a nasty way to die. Ooh, gosh, enormous hound. How awful. After taking the life of his fifth victim, the killer was apprehended. And the case was presented in magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in closed court. No members of the public were permitted. In closed court? So you mean the professor's identity was kept a secret? As you summarize, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Mario, come here. Naturally, he was found guilty, and it was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in the grave of Logate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison that we have held. However, that was not the end of the affair. Oh! The very night that he was buried, the convict man came back to life. Came back to life?! He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged in a moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts the very scenes as there was a sole witness in the most chilling events. There was a witness? But of course, my dear fellow, it was another den. A young man in a white overcoat. Agnog Drebber. He saw what happened. The young witness. So this is the waxwork model of Agnog Drebber. 10 years ago, the convict and professor have been gibbeted and buried and emerged from his grave in the dead of night, and the sole witness in the imaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he's about 20 years old. So horrifying. Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he saw was that turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. As following a few days, the story of what he's been in the very front page of the Capitol. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who came back to life. As you've seen, the exhibit has been created here as Madame Tuspel's. I quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night. Yes, what was he up to? Following the execution. The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper class into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abound. After all, no killer had ever been before systemically employed as a dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had. But in a time, of course, the rumors abated. So, too, did talk of the shocking witness accounts of the convict came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did the people stop believing it? Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact. What do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigating the grave in Logate Cemetery published their findings. The convict's body was found buried exactly where it had been following the execution. No, but that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police newspapers. That would appear to be the logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society and had nothing to be heard of him since. It's rather striking, then, that she resurfaced now, don't you think? Of course, the convict murderer could have possibly come back to life. That's not impossible, but it's possible Drebber's hair is unusually white, so that really did happen overnight as a result of shock. It's hard to believe that the incident was out and out lie. Ah! What the bleeding Nora? What have you gone and done? Gina, what are you doing here? I asked Iris and she said she was waiting you in, so... Gina! Not so loud! Madame Tuspel will have you take a position as a waxer if you're not careful. I think there might be more pressing concern. I still have some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so... Bullshit! Alright, Gina, we understand, but please, put down the gun! Sorry, I got scared. You should try being one on the other end of the barrel. So what brings you here, Gina? What brings me in? What do you think? We found it! We found the Dodgy Glove's workshop. What? You found Drebber's workshop? Yep, Dobby's nose took us straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in the drag, so come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it down. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there once. Alright then, see you there. Here you go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here. Big still. What? I know my place in the exhibit over there. Oh dear, Sylvia feeling sorry for himself. Let's go, Mr. Sholmes. You're coming. Your words hardened me, I must say, but there's a strike for duties here. Madam, whatever. Forget that! I'll pay for everything! Well, there's not over to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail the carriage at once. That was the quickest response. No offer to share the cost from Mr. Schultz's death. I shall gladly pay him in half, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Mrs. Sato. Right, let's go. I have no money. Alright, let's go. That looks like... Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Indeed, it would appear so. Although it's a prototype, naturally. Ah, you got the good. Gina! Well done finding this place. In such little time. You really work miracles. Oh, you see bows. You see arrows there. Still be a miracle worker. Whoop! Cutie. Ah, I thought you would show up before now. Hello, Inspector. Was one little brow. Looks as though he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips. So, Inspector, is there a sign of the engineer? Sadly, no. We didn't find a soul in here. Ah, oh, damn it. Oh, what a shame. But we found his workshop. Well, what do you think of letting us know this place to go investigate? According to what Gina tells us, we only found it thanks to the clue that turned up. It wouldn't have been sick, with parents of dead gratitude unpaid for. Now, what I thank you. Anyway, you're hoping to slip around and get cracking. Lord Van Zeeks and the forensic investigation team are on their way as we speak. Them again. I might imagine the picture now, but they don't have to kind of the lawyer types. Right. So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down if there's a chance. And you, Sholmes. Pardon. They take even less count to great detectives when they do the lawyers. Very droll, Gregson. Very droll. You may have considered nothing more than an acoustic wax from Right then, let's see what we can find here. Okay, so this trophy. First thing. Ah, appears to be most interesting. Yes, interesting indeed. What did you say? It's impressive looking back, Miss Sure. I have no doubt it was shows a few times it could go away. It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could know which in higher honor. Ah. Would you like a massage? No, fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. I think it's become increasingly clear that there was much more to Mr. Ectodroma than conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And how about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Would you like to take a few? For your tired shoulders, of course. He's not going to let that go, is he? It's curious, though, isn't it? You would expect his important trophy to be proudly displayed, so we're not happily cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery sometimes. Science trophy. Little plane. It's an aeroplane. Arrow or air? Which one is it? Even taller towers. Ah, here's the prototype. Made out of wood, mostly. Well, nobody really giving a shit about that act. Well, I'll still see him holding it back. It's quite hollow inside. No working parts and devices of deception be seen, my dear fellow. No loose change dropped on the floor or nothing. Not even a bone of Dobby my dear fellow. British people are so much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they? I think that was just these two, Mrs. Hutton. So then we have this. This is the European-style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside. There it is. Oh, do you suppose? Crossbow bolts, those. It's just the right size for the bow you got turned up at the exhibition center. In other words, for the crossbow, yep, there's more evidence to support your theory. It's all goes to show the Drebber was one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam. So now we found it. There we go, we found it at long last. Nice. Sorry, I hope it was like this. I just find it so funny how like the editors don't give a shit about this act. They just go, nah, fuck that shit. This dumbass act, I love that. Okay, so let's go ahead and check the door here. This door doesn't want to open. Yeah, it looks like it got a pretty hefty lock on it. There's a specialist locksmith on the way over in the yard, so hands off till it gets here. With permission, Inspector. I could have to lock open in this minute. Well, you don't have permission. Now I've given it to you. Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed that. Look, he's like, bro, yes, I can finally tell him off. Well, there's no sign of anybody on either side. No drivers have fled. There's first sign of danger. Oh? Something wrong, Mrs. Seto? Well, I thought I heard a noise far side of the door. Well, Gina, did you hear it too? Yeah, I heard it and all. What do you reckon, Toby? Cutie. Right, mind that grease. Whoever's in there, open up! This is Scotland Yard! I think I know who that was. Oh my, someone is in there! Ah, this rotten bleeding lock! My dear Greg sent to say only minutes ago. If only they're counteracted, unlock the door and listen a minute. Fine, I'll take the rip on it. Just get us through the blasted door. Click! That was quick. There, you may enter. You've confused minutes within seconds, I think. Time is of the essence, I feel. As what it is for. Nothing I'm for as well. This is an emergency. There is a strong possibility beyond the doors, engineer you all seek. Then prepare for action, my dear fellow. Yes. And I'll see how the scouts, boy. Whoa! What happened in this here? Is that dynamite? Yes, that's dynamite. Yeah, this room's gonna blow. What? What's happening here? Why is everything upside down? Except for the footprints and that. Rats, hey, I don't want to get after all. But there must be. It's only moments ago I heard those noises. Maybe that was the driver running away? There's a door. There's the green balloon. The windows are for the escape route. The skylights are too high. But why is the footprints up there? It's really odd. Why is it up there? Are there footprints in the ceiling? Blow me, what do we have here then? Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry. What's that? Oh, it looks like a set of blueprints to what? The Professor Hairbrine's binding machine, is it? Blimey, if I had these, we'd have no need to much to investigate all that scrap metal. There's something to get inserted in here too. Just in here too. A rope. It was lying on the floor in front of the pillar. A rope? What's significant about that? Never mind. What's the rope doing? You see, but you don't observe Mr. Nadahodo. You must investigate the room thoroughly before the investigation arrives too. That's what we got. So we have the entire as dynamite. We have the same green balloon up here. It's a real flying balloon. And it's green too. I think it's probably stops using gas. A green flying balloon. It does have the hallmarks of an amazing deception and great station, doesn't it? Could it be that the whole thing was planned here in this very workshop? And the footprints up here is what's interesting. How the fuck are they up there? No denying it, there are footprints up there. That's really odd. Not a Wonder Woman, that would make him almost superhuman, I suppose. So it's like this whole room's been turned upside down, and we have the safe, which is very interesting. And then this entire as dynamite. Mr. Scholz, have you found some? Ah, Mr. Nadhuddle. Yes, point of fact, I read or something fascinating. What do you make of this? Oh god. Let's see, I've never seen anything like that before. That's dynamite. This looks like a bundle of fake cigars wrapped up in a large. Ah! Mrs. Seto, what's the matter? That's surely that's a time bomb, isn't it? What did you say? A time bomb? Sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? Or dynamite? You're truly a one of a kind, Mr. Nadahodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Ha! You don't like nothing, do ya, Odo? You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina? I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Nadahodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I can confess a very similar appearance. That is a bomb! Oh, thank goodness. But then, what is it? I see, so that's it. Goodness, Mr. Scholz, have you seen what the heart of the matter? There are times I consider lots of most unfair, so I'm afraid never to know. It feels a flounder to the puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to have hardships to come with me and be protected, Mr. Seto. Here we go. Feel great deduction coming up. Once again, I can draw out the Christmas scene before us. So first, it's that the verdant nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself. Oh, but how could you? That actually is true. That part is true, honestly. And the second conclusion is that small device on the floor is, without a question, a complete genuine. That's for sure, too. Please, please explain everything. And it would be a pleasure. After all, it's great civic duty to Scotland Yard to find points of trade. Well, Inspector Gregson is delighted in it anyway. off as the inspector's glare such a fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done. You're too kind, my dear madam. They will dedicate a great deduction to you. Stand kindly of Mrs. Seto. Oh, yes. I'd be delighted. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic of reasoning spectacular. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Oh. Flipped furniture. Oh. It's plain to see that the room is complete disarray. The bed, the table, the chairs, and the lamp, everything is upside down. That's true. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned in the ceiling. No! Before falling straight down on the floor. What? Every item on the floor is in the ceiling? Are you suggesting that? Oh, it's anti-gravity? Wait, hold on. There's a code there. Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear the technology has at last succeeded freeing us the great pool on Earth. Now, I don't... There's a combination to the safe. For the gravity in the room was reversed and suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth of part of this whole business. No, quite understand expectations of Mrs. Hados to include at first. However, my conviction was analyzed cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device! Almost identical to the one featured in the Dream of Mine. It's only their day, in fact. That is not an anti-gravity device, it's a fucking time bomb. But we may have a clock in it? Almost another question. Indeed, the timing device controls the gravity direction switch. No, that blows up. There are clear requirements of the engineer if it was showing gravity automatically. The engineer on the other side of the door, a moment of destruction occurred. No, that's bullshit. The reason to believe it's turned upside down because it's an anti-gravity device. Nah, it's not. Nah. You see, we need to look further to explain this. Let's find this room. No. Actually, it's reversed by Mr. Drebber before being restored to normality automatically in some fashion later. Timer device. I've precisely seen Dream once fell out of bed. Because gravity was reversed. No. That's bull. Nah. Missing engineer. Now let's consider this conundrum. Was our engineer friend's aim? I bet you the greatest clue we have to explain is our above heads. Yes, possible footprints all the way up to the ceiling. Question answered neatly the truth, my dear madam. The reason it's footprints in the ceiling is nearby skylight. But did you say earlier that it wasn't possible to escape from there? Of course, your aim was singular to escape. However, there is but one to his room, except the skylight, that is. Ah! By inverting the gravity here, Drebber was able to fall, coming into the ceiling. It was escaped by the other way inaccessible skylight, leaving the footprints behind. What? But the ceiling is very, very high, Mr. Sholmes. If the gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Drebber have fallen to the ceiling rather than violently? That is true. Falling up, both scientifically and physically rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was the only option. You may recall this room earlier, I believe, offers a solution. The rope. Oh, the rope! The teacher rather was a better tool than the rope. By anchoring the one end of the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling. There's no, I don't get this. Which explains how Drebber was able to escape his room rival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled by the skylight. And personally, I would have very much reversed the pull of gravity again. That's just fun. That is no. Something else happened here. Nah, that can't be it. And that concludes the great deduction. It's a topsy-turvy puzzle. Oh, so God, that is not it at all. She's completely stubborn. Mr. Sholmes, there is one thing that's troubling me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled with just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such I think actually possible anti-gravity device. Maybe. Yeah. Mario, you baby boyo. Yeah. Mario. Hi, boy.
Objection.
Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, spell broken at last. The rope you found on this floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was. Not like coils near the wall. But Mr. Trevor used to escape the other way. Mr. Wouldn't he have still tied to the wall? That's true. That's true. Mysteries inevitably unraveled together, however, from the ropes and evidence as such. You need to look at the mystery face the ring skillfully unraveled. The argument circular as close a rope. I think perhaps I need to give Mr. Jones a little helping hand. It was my corrections that graded the truth. Yes, you're right. And we must do it quickly before our driver gets too far away. Ready, let's resume. Her lecture on the logic of reasoning, spectacular. Mario, I see you there, my boy. Come here. Course correction. Let's do the course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. All right, here we go. So it's furniture. It can't be the gravity. That's completely, totally wrong. That's true. Things upside down. That if they're falling straight down. No, that can't be it. No. The upright vase. It's the only thing that's upright. It's the upright vase. It's the vase, obviously. There we go. The upright vase clearly reveals the truth to the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you've surpassed yourself by completely turning an argument on his head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No, I was trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Schultz, trust me. I rightly say it appears first glance the furniture in the room is upside down. And as I'm assuming, slender vase in attention. And the large safe is something fixing on the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never averted at all! My deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, poor Mr. Schultz. But the show must go on, so let's continue our deductions. The anti-gravity. So now we know that the company's it's not an anti-gravity device, remains another possibility. You don't say. I know exactly what that is. Someone deliberately turned every piece of furniture in here, which seems obvious, but one mystery very much solved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that? Quite, and naturally there's an explanation. Yes, it's upside down because of the anti-gravity device. Ah, that's a bomb, bro. That's a bomb. Definitely determined to keep this device. The safe combination. 432582. Safe. It's safe and secure. Securable, lockable box, I think. Evidently. Well, there's a large zip bolted in there, so yes. What do you mean? Another really let us up. I wonder if you're in here, though. Take that! The safe combination. There we go, we got it. Yes, the reason why everything has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination. Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not? Yes, last year, when I brought a lottery ticket and noted a ticket number down on the inside of the cover of the book just in case. That's it. For people with forgetful souls at heart and always make the written note important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more reasonable, I think. And what pray happened to Mr. Naruhodo? When the day of the draw came round, I forgot the whole book which I've written the number in and entered in my room upside down to find it. That's it. For people with forgetful souls at heart and always forget their note things down. Not if you always note things in the same place. I actually won the second prize, you know. I'm not gonna remember which magazine I slipped the ticket into, so I had to turn the room upside down. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe it proves my point now. Which is that a very similar scenario is clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself acquiring access to the safe, the occupant in his room needed the combination code. I remember it's written upside down page treasure, I forget which one. Leading to this day, where'd she find the room? So now we know that it was actually because of the safe combination. Let's be hurry to locate the combination code that will unlock the safe. Now let's do the second part, shall we? To find the safe combination. That one's solved. Perfection. Missing engineer. Let's go. No, it's not that. It is weird that you're up there, though. That is an odd thing, I will say. Wow, so you actually can explain it. The footprint's up there. I think there is another way. There's a shoe! What's a shoe doing up here? It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there, look. Oh yes, there's a footprints of a little balloon. Perhaps it's thrown up there because of the lodge. If so, judging a number of footprints with them several times, it wouldn't know doing it just leaned up. Oh dear, that's beyond me, I'm afraid. And you also see the balloon with footprints here too, so yeah. It's the shoe! What's a shoe doing there? We don't know, but there's a shoe on the balloon. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because there's a nearby shoe. And the closer inspection included footprints on the balloon as well. The other words, it was never skeletal at all but the balloon. But for what purpose? The green balloon. Seems somewhat familiar data. The piece of the balloon's envelope that Mr. Nuttall usually found at the scene. And inside the green balloon that the Master Gods claims he saw about the stage incident occurred. Was there a second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception? You mean to say, if we examine the balloons and hear the model when you said day, there's a strong possibility it may be concealed inside it. Something obscure and disparate to retrieve before we can haste to get there. But the balloon's out of reach, hence why I resort to projectile, namely, the shoe. Most probably, Drebber intended to tear a hole into the envelope by sealing it. However, his efforts were thwarted the shoe itself became a prisoner to those lofty heights. Oh dear, we just finally need to examine that balloon. Only there was some way we could see inside. Crossbow? You may recall they found this early room, I believe, soft solution. The rope. Maybe he was trying to pull it down. 10 destination is better than another tool than a rope. What about, like, something to shoot it down? The rope is actually pretty clever usage, but how the fuck are you gonna tie that? That's the thing. Something that, the crossbow. It's the crossbow, of course. Because you can shoot it with the crossbow. Yeah, obviously. No, that's obvious. To reach the intended destination with a better tool than a crossbow. That was found at the scene, in fact, and in all likelihood belongs to Mr. Drebber. The man only routed it up there. He could have avoided losing a shoe in such critical times. So, shall we? Curiously, deeply stirred up, no, my dear fellows. What is it that Drebber was hidden inside that balloon? Bam! Oh, wow, would you look at that? There was something in there. Ah! What the? It's a head. A waxwork? There's the head. We found it. Indeed it is. The waxwork head is under a mask. The mask is such so fastened and strong and impenetrable lock. So you can't see the face inside, that means. I can't see anything unless someone has a key. This is the head of waxwork model. Does that mean? Oh, goodness. I see you've joined the dots, Mr. Seto. Exactly. Of course, the headless waxwork model. The case of abducted Madame Tuspel's model that you largely solved. It was only the head of the killer was missing. Indeed it was. But I believe Madame Tuspel's enough settler sizable accounts with me. This, as it summarizes, the head of the infamous professor. Why is it here? The coincidentally confirmed her suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor, Madame Tuspel's, and returning it to Saint Stete earlier today was none other than Enoch Drebber. This is incredible. Professor Herbrine's case and the waxwork abduction are they're inextricably linked by Enoch Drebber's workshop. That's gonna be included. That's gonna be helpful. Well, it bears our logical pursuit cruise to come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. The architect? You mean Mr. Drebber? As it seems possible to escape by the skylight. Obviously, the man was still somewhere in this room. What? The location's abundantly clear. If you simply observe the deduction. Drebber's right here, somewhere in this room. Mr. Misahoto, would you do any honors? Yes, of course. I know exactly where he is. Must be the safe. It's the safe. I mean, it's pretty big enough to fit a person, so if you could call yourself in there, it's pretty big enough. And we're getting access to the back room. We heard noises from in here. Which tells us the engineer is still building at the point of time. It was in fact searching for the combination of safe. Turning the room upside down for it, which we can do is a search combination happening very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Drebber is in the safe. Is at the very moment inside the safe. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction. This topsy-turvy puzzle. There we go. Inside the safe. Solved. Alright, we did it. There we go. Right, Mario? Right, Coquito? Elementary. Here we go. So, Mr. Naruto, I think perhaps it's time we get in this game hide and seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? Let's see. The combination was 432582. I knew that! Alright, then here goes. What was it again? Oh, hi. You found me. Whoa! Damn, those moves. Oh, yo. Yo. Oh, there you are. Hi. Yo, look at those moves. God damn. You could be a dancer with those moves. Right then, sir. Mr. Anand Drebber, I presume. Oh my god, Steven Zabop. Correct. You better stop talking. You tricked Professor Herobrine with the bogus machine you built. And you should have explained the theft of Waxwork Manipul spells as well. Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions. I do robotic in this case. Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate? Your parcel? The bomb! I refer, of course, to the bomb. To the time bomb. I let it in the most prominent position. It was a bomb! Ah. Ha 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 ha. I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me then. Oh no. No! Really, Mr. Sholmes? You thought it was a fucking time. Mr. Sholmes! We only 7 seconds to spare. That was too close for comfort. Oh my god, I'm put in the grave already. You're trying to help us get the killer or else get killed. Mr. Sholmes' instructions can be completely life-altering, can't they? Well, my dear fellows, it was close shave. The resemblance to anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say. Anti-gravity devices don't exist! Woo! I wouldn't push Mr. Sholmes. Alright, let's talk. What happened here, boy? What on earth happened in here? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. Yeah, well, we've been giving it the furrow going over. Don't worry, Mr. Trevor. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling? Ah, that would have been me. Oh! For some reason, I woke to find Fettle today. No words, just tightly squeezed chips. Clearly I must have screwed loose though, as I couldn't remember the combination to the safe, and another one loose as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found the robe over— Who the fuck writes— Okay, who writes combinations on the furniture? Who does this? I need to know who does this. Who just goes, okay, let me go under the bed, let me take up the entire bed, write down the code, and we're done. Who does that? Seriously, who does that? And the rope over the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight. Oh, that is true, but sadly the rope was too short. Huh. So I set the searching for combination code to open the safe. And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head of the balloon among the rafters. And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe, having first set this parcel ticking. Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. The time bomb. Got a death wish, have you, hiding right beside a ticking time bomb? Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's not ordinary safe, it's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't even leave a scratch on it. So in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely. Oh. But once you climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. There's a little door inside. The safe is fitted with a handle inside, allowing the door to be unlocked from within. Ah, so it is. I had always intended to blow this place to smithereens in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans. Do you mean to say you were planning to blow us all up? Nope, that was unforeseen. What do you mean? I thought he has a plus and minus on him. That's amazing. Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. I calculated time required for retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. Oh, but your seeming endless discourse in here threw a banner at my works. God damn it, Sholmes! Sholmes really... Mr. Sholmes. Sholmes, really? He just said, that's anti-gravity device. Now that's a bomb. That's a ticking time bomb right there. Is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face? Besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. But what about the 2 incidents you've inadvertently been involved in recently? Professor Herobrine's ingenious kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor, clad in a mask with locks so strong I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering to carrying it around as protection, after all. That's enough! Oh. What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here. Yes, well, Dr. Seif again, the forensic investigation team are here. And you know full well his engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer to access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew about this, he'd be finished. You lot, leave at once. My dear madam, there's no need for such fighting tone, I assure you. After all, that's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Seif? Hello, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Seif? If it is protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you are quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell, you... Get out! But of course, we'll show ourselves to the door. I see him softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today. But Mr. Sholmes! Let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. I said get out, now! All of you! Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we would never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown up to bits. There was a time bomb set here that this lot disarmed. Spectre! Oh, I love you. I love you, Gregson! I love you, Gregson! What? Something giving you a chuckle, has it, Drebber? So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Oh, no. Yes, you did disarm that one. There's another! What? That one? You mean? There's another one. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Where's the other one at? Oh, come on. Oh no, of course. It's gonna blow up the machine itself. Yeah, we're fucked. Oh my god. God damn. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage of the Great Exhibition. Professor Herobrine's invention of all secrets were blown away forever. Holy shit. Well, that's the end of that investigation. So now we're going to do the trial next episode. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please kind of subscribe or whatever. Next time we're going to start the trial, which is going to be pretty long. So we're going to start the trial next episode and hopefully end the case. So yeah, see you guys then. Bye.